The NBA All-Star Game is dead. If you clicked on this video, you probably already know this. The best players in the world join forces for a star-studded weekend that culminates in a glorified layup line. What's supposed to be a hallmark event highlighting the greatest basketball players on planet Earth has become entirely unrecognizable. In 2023, head coach Michael Malone, who coached in the game, said that is the worst basketball game ever played. And honestly, he might not be far off. Nobody cared, nobody really even pretended to try, and it resulted in the lowest rated All-Star game in history. The NBA panicked. They needed a fix, and they needed it fast. So in 2024, they made some changes. They brought back East versus West, killed the awkward team draft, shortened the long, dramatic player intros, and they promised it would feel real again. And then, the game started. 211 to 186. 397 total points. Nothing changed. For many, it was another overhyped, unwatchable event that meant nothing to those playing in it. And so now, in 2025, the NBA is trying something new. A tournament-style format. 4 teams, 3 games, first to 40. Era versus era. Global stars versus American stars. More money on the line. And of course, the Mr. Beast challenge. Kevin Hart doing weird Kevin Hart stuff for 3 hours. A thrilling performance from DJ Cassidy. Starting the All-Star Championship game, letting them score 13 points, then going to a 5-minute commercial break, into a 10-minute goodbye tribute to the Inside the NBA crew, a show that will still be on air next season, also with more Kevin Hart stuff included, of course, into another 5-minute commercial break before the rest of the game. To fix the All-Star game, the NBA landed on less basketball being played. Sick. So what the hell is Adam Silver thinking? There was a time when the All-Star Game was serious. The first ever NBA All-Star Game debuted in 1951. A simple idea: get the best players in the league and have them go at it. And back then, the dudes played like their lives depended on it. It wasn't just a casual run. It became the most watched regular season game every year. Players cared, fans cared, winning mattered, and if you didn't show up and you didn't play hard, you'd hear about it. Now picture this. 1972. The game is tied. 5 seconds left. The ball finds Jerry West, the literal NBA logo himself. He rises up, mid-range, game. The crowd goes nuts. That wasn't just a casual jumper. It was a dagger in a game that didn't feel like a glorified shoot-around. It was about pride, about proving who the best really was. Then we go to 1988. Jordan, Wilkins, 2 of the best dunkers in NBA history, going head-to-head. Jordan takes off from the free throw line, perfect 50. The Chicago crowd explodes. That dunk, that moment, instantly iconic. Like, you could show it to a random person who doesn't even watch basketball, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. It was that legendary. And now, the dunk contest features players that many casual fans don't even know who they are. 1992, Magic Johnson's career was over. At least, that's what everybody thought. HIV forced him into retirement. Doctors said it was too risky for him to play again. And then the All-Star Game gave him one last shot. His first time back on an NBA court since a shocking retirement. And this wasn't just some sentimental farewell where everybody just let him score. No, the players defended hard. They played tough. But when Magic hit his final shot, everything stopped. It wasn't about the score anymore. It was about something more than basketball. Bird, Jordan, Thomas, legends, killers. Even they knew that this moment was special because it was competition, but it was also about respect. 2003 was supposed to be the fairy tale ending for Michael Jordan, except Kobe Bryant wasn't having it, and he went on to force double OT. Because even in the All-Star Game, nobody wanted to lose. They weren't just there for show. Again, it was competition, and when it came down to the final stretch, it felt serious. 2012, Dwayne Wade breaks Kobe Bryant's nose, but in classic Kobe fashion, he just kept playing. No half-speed effort, no I don't want to get hurt mindset. Dude literally just got his nose broken and kept it rolling. He even guarded LeBron down the stretch and was picking him up full court. And after the game, he let everybody know how pissed off he was that LeBron wouldn't challenge him and take the final shot. Even if the entire game wasn't perfect, as the clock kept winding down, a star like Kobe was pushing them to compete. And then something changed. In 2017, the Western Conference All-Stars put up 196 points. It was a glorified pickup run at LA Fitness. Nobody tried, nobody cared, and the fans started checking out. In just a few years, the game would become unrecognizable. Reddit user SammyT0803 summed up what many fans feel. In high school, college, and the first few years after college, Saturday Night All-Star Weekend was absolutely appointment viewing. Now I'm 35, and I'd be shocked if I'd watched one in 10 years. People went from marking their calendars to forgetting that it exists. So how do you fix it? The NBA introduced team captains, Team LeBron versus Team Giannis. They would abandon the East versus West and have two captains draft teams, hoping to maybe create some tension and just see players share the floor that we usually don't ever see together. But not much changed. In 2020, the All-Star Game used the Elam ending, where in the fourth quarter the clock stops. Whichever team is winning, you add 24 points to their score, and the first team to reach that target score wins. It was fun literally that one time. They cared that one time for that one quarter. Then back to business as usual. And then 2023 happened. 184 to 175. Players were literally just walking around out there. Jason Tatum put up an all-star record 55 points, but honestly, he might as well have been playing against chairs out there. And the worst part is that the players themselves also knew it was trash. After the game, Coach Michael Malone straight up called it the worst basketball game ever played, and the NBA was officially in panic mode. But we have to be real about what has changed. The game is not what it used to be. The money is certainly not what it used to be. And the discourse around the game of basketball and its greats just doesn't highlight the All-Star game. So it's not hard to see why a player wouldn't really care. If you're set to make $50 million a year in the offseason on a new contract, are you really going to risk injury in a meaningless game for bragging rights? In 1990, the average NBA salary was $1.9 million. That's a lot. But in today's NBA, it's basically nothing. The average now is $9.7 million. And if you're a star, you're making $50 to $70 million plus per year. Think about that. When Michael Jordan was winning dunk contests, he wasn't even making generational wealth type money yet. And now, role players and guys who barely crack the rotation are making $10 million a year. So what's the point in going all out in an exhibition game? I mean, if you were making $500,000 a game, would you risk it? Or would you take it easy, make sure you're healthy for the games that are actually going to earn you a bigger contract and better endorsement deals? The collapse of All-Star Weekend isn't just the game. It's NBA All-Star Saturday Night too. The dunk contest, the three-point contest, and now the skills challenge. For many, the culprit is LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter. They all competed. They all had legendary moments that we talk about to this day. Michael Jordan's performance was a springboard into a multi-billion-dollar brand. But LeBron? Never. Every year he would tease his participation and then never show up. And people took notice. Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back on LeBron, saying, "Every high flyer, every Skywalker, every above-the-rim talent salivated at the chance to compete in the dunk contest, until LeBron James refused." And honestly, he's right. Once LeBron said, "Nah, I'm good," nearly every superstar after him followed. And now, instead of Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, or Zion Williamson, we're watching rookies, role players, and G Leaguers battle it out. Now, I think Mac McClung is one of the greatest dunkers of all time. He's earned his right to be there at this point. But even his greatness has yet to inspire a Ja Morant, Zion, or other high-flying star to step up. And it all started with LeBron setting the standard that stars just don't have to do stuff like this anymore. Another issue is that oftentimes it feels like some players can't even be counted on in the regular season. You think they're going to go hard in the All-Star game? Anthony Edwards even called them out for it. He straight up said, "Fans paid money to see us play, so we should play." But the reality is, players are focusing on resting, recovering, and protecting their contracts. And why shouldn't they? The NBA market has created an environment where the players just aren't incentivized to do anything besides get that next contract and try to win a championship. Do you think LeBron would feel better about his legacy if he could claim his slam dunk title, or if he could win another championship? Players these days just don't seem to believe that you can do both of those things. So here we are, 2025, a tournament format, 4 teams, 3 games, even more money for the winners of those games. Young stars facing off against legends with bragging rights on the line. Honestly, the games really weren't even that bad. And yet, the product was dramatically worse. Instead of giving us more and better basketball, the NBA used this opportunity to create a bizarre, what the hell am I watching mix of advertisements, internet influencers, musical performances, and way too much Kevin Hart. Reddit user Forget Chain broke down the broadcast stats by the minute. In a 3-hour All-Star Game broadcast, we finished with just 42 total minutes of basketball and 80 minutes of ads. And the rest? Mr. Beast, Kevin Hart antics, musical guests, and Draymond Green telling everybody about how this is the worst thing that he's ever seen in his life. The NBA landed on a style of basketball that seems like it might actually work, with the future face of the league, Victor Wembanyama, actively trying to win his games, but he was kind of still the only one. And still, the NBA served up a hot pile of garbage and a slap in the face to its fans, tuning in, wanting to watch the best players in the world play basketball. Something that you would expect to happen at the basketball game. So what happens next? It feels like at this point the All-Star Game might just be a thing of the past. The NFL already did it. Theirs is gone, and now it's just a fun skills challenge thing. And the NBA, they could be next. But there is some hope. It feels like that this could be solved if you could simply convince the players to care. And maybe the next generation of stars will do that. Wembanyama is trying, maybe others will follow suit. Maybe the pressure will mount enough that players get tired of the ridicule that they're receiving and they actually do something about it. Because the NBA can't afford another All-Star weekend like what we just witnessed. So what would your solution be? Should the All-Star Game be canceled? Can it be saved? Let us know in the comments and hit that subscribe button for more.